The iPhone X was a big deal, and for good reason. Everybody was so hyped and excited for the next version of the iPhone, and we were rewarded with that after all the rumors and leaks. It finally came out, we all hip hip hoorayed, and everybody lived happily ever after. The end. So naturally, I was expecting to get something like that when the Apple Watch Series 10 was coming right around the corner. I was like, yes, this is it. I'm so excited. It was so hand in hand with the iPhone. This has to be a big deal. And we got nothing. I was so excited for this. And then afterwards, I started forming this theory, what I'm now calling the iOS accessories theory. When I think about the Apple accessories as a whole, for me personally, one of the first things I actually think about is this thing. The Magic Mouse with the lightning connector port at the bottom in a very weird spot that you have to plug in, and it felt so afterthought of, but I think of something like this, or the keyboard. The year is 2024. And as of filming this, there's been no announcements with new Mac or Mac accessories or anything like that. So as it stands, this is still the latest generation for an Apple accessory with Mac, with a lightning connector at the bottom. But not just that, let's talk about something even newer, wounds that are still fresh, the AirPods Max, and that refresh, if we want to call that a refresh. That one did get USB-C and literally nothing else. So those are just a few examples that I think about with accessories, but I mean, look, even the iPad didn't get anything special for its 10-year anniversary. And that was supposed to be the future of computing. That was supposed to be the post-PC device, right? Remember? Wait, or was that the Apple Vision Pro that came out earlier this year? It's so hard to tell these days. Everything revolves around iPhone, and more specifically, iOS. Apple Vision Pro is just a different looking iOS. It has the same limitations. Hell, I would even say more, I would argue. Even the Mac has started not functioning at its best without there being an iPhone involved first. Think of iPhone mirroring, or even editing photos in the photo application, that if you took a photo with an iPhone 16, now you get the special editing features that are baked into that particular photo. Apple is so hot for iOS, it's even on your macOS. Now, could you use a Mac without an iPhone? Sure. How about an iPad or Apple Vision Pro? Why not? But there's an intentional decrease in value the moment you don't have an iPhone. You wouldn't even entertain the idea of dropping that amount of cash on a product without first having an iPhone. It's not even about enriching the Apple ecosystem. I've changed my stance on that terminology now. It's all about the iOS ecosystem, and everything else just falls under that. You can't properly use an Apple Watch without an iPhone. You can't have an Apple credit card without having an iPhone. You can't even open a Goldman Sachs saving account without having the Apple credit card that can only come with your iPhone. All things are immediately less than without an iPhone, without iOS. So until something threatens or dethrones the iPhone, this is it. And right now, the talk of the town is AI. And guess what? It's going to be baked right into iOS, system-wide, if you have the right phone. You know where it's not going? The Apple Watch, Apple Vision Pro, none of the other accessories that use Siri natively, like HomePods, or Apple TV. None of them are getting this AI love. Products that I thoroughly enjoy using. Steve Jobs once said that the Mac was the hub to all the other Apple devices.
We had one of our most important insights, and that was that the PC was going to become the digital hub for your digital life. We're going to demote the PC and the Mac to just be a device, just like an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod Touch. And we're going to move the digital hub, the center of your digital life, into the cloud.
Now, I don't even believe that. It's the iPhone. It's iOS. That's why everything in Apple's production looks like iOS. The continuity is very intentional. It's iOS first, Then, if it makes enough money, like AirPods, it's everything else secondary. And all that other stuff that I mentioned, or things that you might be thinking, I wonder when they're going to refresh this thing next. All that stuff is literally last. Even subscriptions come before those other products. It's iOS first, and then everything else when they feel like it. Or maybe when it's a slow iPhone year. Or maybe when a government forces them to do something. And that's my iOS accessories theory.
Now, you might ask, why should I believe them? They're the ones that brought me Mobile Me. It wasn't our finest hour.